What's up, home church? I'm out here on my patio. Storm just rolled through. I've been trying to get this video done. It's been kind of crazy, but it's beautiful. It's like the sunset's going to be beautiful tonight. So I wanted to come out here. Copied off Nate a little bit with his outdoor deal. So I wanted to talk to you today about our topic, and that's, shifting. And I've been reading Genesis 26, verses 12 through 22, and it's about where Isaac, Abraham's son Isaac, they were living in this land that didn't belong to him. It belonged to a man named Abimelech, and Isaac is living there. Abimelech's letting him live there, and Isaac is living like a fat rat with no cat in the house. You know what I'm saying? Like they got cattle galore. They multiplying. I mean, life is good, but you're in somebody else's land, okay? And so they outgrew the land. And Abimelech come up there and said, look, man, y'all got to go. I mean, because, Isaac was getting powerful and they were multiplying. There just wasn't no room for him here anymore. And furthermore, that land didn't belong to him. He's hanging out in somebody else's, where somebody else is supposed to be. There's something else for Isaac. God had a vision and a dream of he didn't have a dream. But God had a place for Isaac. And it wasn't on somebody else's land. And so anyway, Isaac, they have to move off from that land, and they go, he does what so many of us do. He wanted to go back to what was, comfortable and familiar. So he goes to this land where Abraham, his dad, had dug some wells. They need fresh water. You need fresh water. And so they went to this place. He just went on back to where he was from, just going to go back to what was familiar and comfortable. I talk a lot about this training class right now with a bunch of other managers, great guys, and we bounce. I'm like the village idiot in there, but I'm in the right village, but I'm still the village idiot. But, it's a great group of guys, and we talk a lot about things in business and how we're going to handle our businesses and whatever. And we talked about the other day, like the worst place that someone could be in who you need to be assertive and a go-getter is a place of just comfortable. I'm going to sit on my tenure. I've been here 20 years, and that's, but what have you done? What have you done? You may have been here 20 years, so is that rock right there. I think it's done more than you lately, you know what I mean? And so Isaac's kind of in that place, he's just in this place where he's trying to feel comfortable and just wanting to be comfortable. And it reminds me, this whole thing is called the shift. So I'm going to talk about it years. I don't know if you guys ever drove a standard car. I learned how to drive on a standard. And man, let me tell you something. If you're in first gear, okay, it took me forever to learn how to drive one too. Oh my God. I remember me and Mike Keith was rolling up on some, my friend Mike Keith was rolling up on some girls one time when I was a little whippersnapper, and I didn't really, standard was kind of hard to concept sometimes for me. We was trying to roll up real cool, radio up loud. And man, I did something wrong with that clutch, and that shift was in the wrong gear, and we went to bouncing, bam, boom. And we looked like some idiots, and the girls laughed at us, and we felt stupid. And Mike was like, man, what's wrong with you? And because I was in the wrong gear. I wasn't shifting correctly. I didn't, when you're going slow, you need to be in first gear. And as you speed up, you've got to shift to 2 and then 3 and then 4 and then 5, and that's overdrive. And the same way, you don't want to be in 5th gear, okay, and be going 10 miles an hour, because then it's just going to be an uncomfortable journey, if you understand what I'm saying. And so I said that, going back to this. So here's Isaac, okay, and he's outgrown his territory. He's in somebody else's land. He's outgrown it, okay. A lot of us are in that place where we have outgrown where we are. There's deeper, there's more, and we need to move on. So Isaac went back to what was comfortable, to where his dad dug wells. They were filled up. It's no longer there. That's not your destiny. Your destiny is not to live in your dad's old house. Your destiny is to go out and get new lands and do new things. And so Isaac's just tried to stay around that area, though. Well, let me just stay where I kind of, everything looks still kind of familiar. And he dug wells there, and the people quarreled with him, and he had to move from there, and then he tried to do it again kind of in that area, and those people come and strove with him for those wells, and he had to, and then the scripture says it, then Isaac moved on. He moved on. And when he moved on, they dug wells there, and it was their land, and God said, here's where you're supposed to be, and this is where you're going to flourish. How many of us do the same? I've done the same thing. You know, I want to go back to what's comfortable, what's familiar. And that's essentially like being in that second gear when I'm supposed to be in fifth. You know, it's just, and it's just a lot of noise, distraction. Drive your car in first gear 50 miles an hour. Don't do it. I don't know if you can, but it's just very, it's loud, and it's it's the worst noise ever. In the same situation, can't be in fifth gear going 10, So I've had to, in my life, learn how to shift sometimes down and slow things down. That's the hardest for me. And I've also had to learn it's time to speed things up. It's time to move on. It's time to get into that next gear and move to that next level. And if you feel uncomfortable right now, or just, you just have that feeling of emptiness sometimes, like everything seems so mundane and just so blase, and every day just kind of comes and goes. And, maybe it's because you're still in an area that you've outgrown, and you're still hanging out in first gear and second gear when it's time to move on into third and fourth. We need to seek God, and we don't need to the Bible says that sometimes you need to be still, but it also says sometimes you need to move. And like Isaac did, instead of quarreling and arguing with God about wanting to stay here, be where I'm at, maybe it's time that we move on and let God bless us, and then we can flourish in life. I hope this made sense to you. LaDonna, I want to give you a shout out. Last week you blessed me with that humility talk. I'm telling you, you hit me. Nate, I'm waiting on you to preach something that blesses me too. I'm kidding. I love you guys. Let's shift, man. Hey, some of us may need to slow down, and some of us may need to speed up. That's going to be for you and God to find out, but I can tell you right now, don't be in first trying to go 50, and don't be in fifth trying to go 10. I love y'all.